Are you a fan of BN painted F-units? Do you like them side by side or in a long string? And how about the sound of a dynamic brake and the details involved in an engine servicing facility? Well, that's what this video is all about. Hi, this is Burr Stewart, and let's get to work. Brian Elchlepp brought over a couple of somewhat more modern Burlington Northern diesels in the era that I model, which is 1973, and he ran them up and down the hill so that he could exercise their dynamic brake. Hear that whine coming out of both engines? Very nice. Now, when you get to the bottom of the grade, you're supposed to turn the dynamic brake off. If you don't know what a dynamic brake is, it is some electrical resistors and fans that allow the electric motors in the engines to function as generators, taking the energy out of the train and putting it up into the air as heat.
I'll just sit up. Okay.
Now let's hear him turn that thing off now. Hear that spooling down? Now the engine can just use its regular throttle functioning. And this gives us a chance to enjoy the train too. But wait, look how those blue and green colors lined up with the two woodchip cars and the two engines. You couldn't set that up if you tried, and here it was just an accident. All right. Well, now we get a chance to look a little more carefully at the train that we're pulling. The 40-foot SP&S box, a refrigerator car, a tank car used in liquid flux service for paper mills and other kinds of mills, woodchip cars, empty flat cars, and a nice caboose. Now, a few minutes later, Brian was trying to back his train into the Delta yard, and he ended up with some sort of a problem. I guess he backed into the wrong track. He wasn't too happy about that. He had to pull out back in again. I can't really tell what went wrong back there, but oh yeah, look, he crashed into the train that was on the siding or on the first yard track. So he was chastising himself for not being a better brakeman. So he pulled back out, flipped the switch to the correct setting. Showed off his horn-blowing skills by giving us the 1 blast for stopping and the 3 blasts for backing up. Yeah, those are some very nice engines. I thought you'd enjoy seeing them in action, even if I don't have the focus very good some of the time. There we go, he's backing into the Everett Delta yard.
Strange sounds. Something's not right.
Oops, he had an electrical problem. Well, I wanted to admire these F units again. There's some B units without the cabs, and here are the ones with the driver's cabs. The two on the right have LED headlights, and the one on the left has an incandescent bulb. You can really see why we all are enjoying the LED headlights now in our modern locomotives. As well as the rotating beacons, you can see those left two beacons much better. Yeah, we put them into a consist of 5 units, and a little bit later in the video, we'll run those for you.
It's a Sumas turn right there.
Oh yeah, true.
Beautiful things. I've always been a big fan of F-units, and we haven't been running them all that much on the layout lately, so as you know from one of my recent videos, we got excited about them and brought them out again. One of them was only picking up the electricity on the rear truck, so Brian got the shell off it and we soldered all the connections between the decoder and the wheels. Well, now we move into the engine servicing facility phase of this video. We've got a couple of yards that host engines, as you know, and over in the Argo yard shown here, we have the Milwaukee and the Union Pacific that come in and interchange, and they store engines there occasionally. And then, of course, we also have the BN operating out of the Stacy Street yard, and we were doing some work over there, so we moved the switch engines here. And here's the work we're doing. Dave was installing some engine servicing equipment, meaning oil, sand, and water columns. And he brought over his own drill for this, but I think that it was not a very sharp drill because this is only a 1/2-inch plywood, and it seems to me it took an awful long time. To drill an 1/8-inch hole in a piece of 1/2-inch plywood. If you'd had a sharp drill, this would have been a 2-second project. See what I mean? Well, he finally made it through that hole. Very good. And a little bit later, you can see he was able to install those nice columns that he put together from Stewart Products kits. See the sand tower on the left? And he was doing the same thing for the Milwaukee engine terminal over by the stairwell, which I've shown you in earlier videos. Very nice. We're still working on that backdrop. We'll get back to that later. Now here's a review of the work that we did in a recent video on the icing platform in the Burlington yard, and that turned out really well. And Scott had been doing some switching in there, and he left the engine on the icing platform. I'm not sure that that's a bad thing, considering we don't have a special track for the engine storage there. And of course, down below, what we decided to do was to move the Burlington Northern engine ready track over into Stacy. So that we could use the Argo engine track for the Union Pacific. And here it is with Dave's new engine servicing facilities. I think it looks pretty nice. This is a really good idea because the UP did maintain some engines here in Seattle. The Milwaukee had their maintenance down in Tacoma, but we're representing that over in the stairwell. So finally, we're going to enjoy this lash-up of 5 EMD F-units painted in BN green from roughly the 1973 timeframe. These engines are from 3 different manufacturers, and they all have Tsunami decoders of the early version. I call them Tsunami 1s. The detail is good, and the sound is good. Whoops, I had the switch thrown against me. Well, let's try that again. Now with the switch lined correctly, we can sail right through that switch and onto the main line. Once again, the deer on the right-of-way approves of this consist. The squealer is enjoying it. And the next time we show you something like this, we'll try to put a train behind it and not just run engines. But I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of our progress recently. And if you want to see more of this layout and lots of different trains running on it, check the rest of my channel and you'll find it there. And for now, this is Burr Stewart wishing you much fun with trains.